All right, welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. So there has been a massive sentiment shift for all of PulseChain, well, really for all of cryptocurrency, with the new cryptocurrency executive order by the big Don, Donald Trump, and a big tweet from Richard Hart about it. So there was a real key piece of information within there that I thought was absolutely astounding, which for me is very, very bullish for the SEC dismissal. Even though Nuclear Herb said it wasn't, they're not like directly correlated. Still, the messaging there is really profound for the sake of PulseChain. So more importantly, the charts have actually all turned bullish. So unless I'm missing something, we now seem to be officially in the bull phase of pDAI, Atropa ecosystem. And of course, with Teddy Bear leading the way, Teddy Bear has actually broken new all-time highs against PulseChain. So also I wanted to clarify some information on XUSD from yesterday's stream, and why I'm actually even more bullish due to some synchronicities, and why I'm not too concerned with the FUD. So I'll be going over that FUD as well as clarifying some things that I've learned about staking, LP, and rewards. So finally, HotX continues to fly. So who's got some? Has anyone been playing around with ratios there? If you have, I'd love to hear about it. And if anyone wants to join the stream, please feel free to join the stream. Come on, have a yarn. It's a Friday night here in Brisbane. So yeah, with that, let's get into it. So obviously the executive order, we'll go through this tweet. We'll break it down. So awesome. Mr. President, SEC, FBI, DOG, etc. Your president just ordered you to stop the persecution. So you should. He just signed an executive order to protect and promote our ability to develop and deploy code, mine and validate, transact, know our keys without persecution. So this part is key. He just signed an executive order to protect and promote our ability to develop and deploy code, mine and validate, transact, know our keys without persecution. This, if you remember the last year's Christmas stream, this was like a big part of his legal argument, essentially, or his legal defense around what's happening on PulseChain, which I thought the fact that it's now inscribed into this executive order by Donald Trump, and the fact that there's this connection between Richard Hart's lawyers and Donald Trump's team, I think, like there's dreamers and there's rationalists. So I saw a decentralized me tweet the other day, and it's like, you can either... The dreamers, I'm a dreamer. I'm looking at the signs. I'm trying to be as rational as possible. I'm trying to be as objective as possible. But at the same time, I'm not going to kid myself with the information that I'm actually seeing. So I'm able to connect the dots. Just because I don't see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I can see 1 and I can see 5 and I can see 10, then my mind can fill in the gaps to create that sense of direction. And there's this big split on PulseChain where people who are the deep rationalists, they want the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the rest of us are just like, we've seen enough. We've seen enough. We're staking our bets. We're staking our claims based on that information. So, okay, I feel like this order was written to directly benefit me and my people. That's pretty wild. So I pray those that have been doing the persecuting feel the same way, so the benefits are realized. Again, they have the same lawyers. Lawyers are the ones, or lawyers help formulate laws. So yeah, this to me was like epic. When I saw this, I was like, holy shit. So the Don showed me a bit of the clips of the Don. Don't fade the Don. Again, this bullish, when I'm talking about the Don vid, who quite often, he's an Atropa OG. He's quite often in here. So I'm a leader in this crucial industry. The digital asset industry plays a crucial role in innovation and economic development in the United States, as well as our nation's international leadership. I'm a hero promoting the development and deployment of software, promoting participation in mining and validation, promoting transaction on blockchain software. No one promotes knowing your keys, which some call self-custody, more than I. No one's projects emphasize running your own code on your own computer with no middlemen more than mine. So this was obviously a big thing that people sort of kicked the dummy or spat the dummy with. But at the end of the day, these things are really important. And this core ethos of decentralized finance, of being able to run your own node, run your own software on your own computer, having all these decentralized nodes around the world, this is really, really very important. This is really taking DeFi to a whole nother level that nobody in cryptocurrency is doing. No one, nowhere. Solana doesn't even come close. Ethereum, the Ethereum bros, they'll laugh at Richard Hart. They really got sucked into his outrage marketing, and they got sucked into the flashy watches and the flashy cars, and thinking that this guy's like a clown, all the while at the same time complaining about the prices of their token, which they're already millionaires on. So people are hypocrites. People are really here for the money, but they don't want to admit that. So this tweet was just a sensational tweet. So it would be great to drop a note to the various persecuted people that the status of your investigation or case has changed, so they can enjoy the relief the president issued an executive order to create. So you're hearing this, SEC, FBI, DOJ, to you and to your useless undertakings of basically you guys are the dark energy. You think you're probably sitting there smiling if you ever heard this, like, oh, this guy, this arrogant kid, but you guys are working for the dark forces of the world. You represent the negative. You're representing the old ways, the old world. You guys are becoming irrelevant, and over time your government agencies will also get shut down because you're going to become increasingly irrelevant. I can't wait to see what's going to happen with the release of the MJK, the Martin Luther King files. Did you guys see that tweet? There was a tweet. The FBI, the audacity of this organization. The FBI has done some fantastic things, no doubt, but they are just as corrupt as any other organization. So they break all the laws. They skew data. They're corrupt. They're just doing what everybody else is doing, but they think they have the protection of the government, and they think that they can just get away with it. But they're corrupt. They went after Martin Luther King, and on Martin Luther King Day, they were like, "Oh, we're really respectful. Thanks to Martin Luther King, we're really proud that he was an American." And then on Twitter, how you can do the fact check. Someone did a fact check that the FBI basically went after him, conspired to assassinate him, and his family believes that. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but it was just like a real stitch up. Like, it's the age of truth. You can't hide behind your lies anymore. You could in the age of newspapers, just I'll sell these idiots these newspapers and we'll go assassinate JFK. I can't wait to see what happens, because these government agencies are disgusting. They break the law continuously, and then they go after others who they think is breaking the law. So really, they're just hypocrites. So no organization is a truthful organization. So I'm not a lawyer. I'm guessing what this means. If the people doing the persecuting didn't think they were persecuting, which is a different word than prosecuting, then someone is going to have to force them to understand that what they're doing is persecution and make them stop. So this is pretty much how the SEC has been operating. They've just been persecuting. They haven't done any prosecuting, just persecuting. Or actually, they have done some prosecuting, but they've done a bloody terrible job at it. Or they'll probably feel their actions aren't affected by this order. Who might one contact to ask the persecution to stop? The president obviously knows that persecution is happening. It's possible some of you doing the persecuting are actually reading this very post. Your president ordered you to stop the persecution, so you must. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That really that resonates in my heart. Your president ordered you to stop the persecution, so you must. If they are continuing to persecute, they are now breaking the law. This is the hypocrisy in which these organizations run. So if they are continuing to persecute, they are going against the president's word. They are going against the law of the country. They are hypocrites. They are criminals, and they are persecuting or attempting to persecute people like Richard Hart. And in so doing, are breaking the law themselves. The hypocrisy is astounding and it's disgusting, but their time is up. This is the beauty of the age that we're living in now. Your president understands the importance of what I'm doing, and since you understand it now too, you'll feel great to let us be free to make the world a better place. So there was this particular thing in here. This was one of the so basically, hang on a second. So there's all these different. So this is strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. And so this is one of the clauses, I suppose you could say. This was the best one. So protecting and promoting the ability of individual citizens and private sector entities alike to access and use for lawful purposes open public blockchain networks without persecution, including the ability to develop and deploy software, to participate in mining and validating, to transact with other persons without unlawful censorship, and to maintain self-custody and digital assets. It's really almost like this law was written for Richard. It's really almost like Richard's lawyers are working with Donald Trump. It's really almost seeming a little bit like that. What do you guys think? Their time is up, man. Their time is up. So there's this massive sentiment shift, but how's this actually affected the chart? This is the interesting thing. So when I first looked at this earlier in the day, it was more pronounced. It's not as pronounced now, but it's still there. So yeah, I mean, look, plus 12% is pretty damn good for PulseX, PulseChain, Hex, all of those. The core coins, they're pumping. Atropa pumped. Atropa pumped 32%. It broke this little trend. So when I was charting this the other day before I lost all my charts, I mean, this stuff is so, like, honestly, I go back and listen to the things that I'm just like, this stuff that I'm sharing is like, I'm not really seeing depth of this kind of alpha. I don't know if that sounds arrogant or not, but I'm not seeing this kind of depth of alpha. Like, besides, I shouldn't say besides some, there's still alpha out there, but like this degree of alpha is like elite. So, you know, just having the Don in here telling us, like, what other channels did he go on to say it's going to break out in 2 days? And it did. It broke out. It broke out of this channel. It came back and retested the channel, and now it's confirmed. It's confirmed bullish now. So now it's really confirmed bullish. It broke this. So this, again, this is all things that I'm learning from the Moon King. This is all things that I'm learning from the Moon King. And so it broke this. So it formed a higher low for a start, and then it broke the recent high. Now, the Moon King, for complete confirmation, would, to the best of my knowledge, basically would want to see something like this. So it would come back and it would retest this, and then it would take off. But as we know, with things like pDAI and Atropa, I mean, Atropa is a bit more steady, but with pDAI, it's like, yeah, when it runs, it really runs. So obviously, what's this done now? This also, pDAI now is almost 2 cents. So it's really looked like this was the low here. It tried to come back down to the 1 cent mark. It very, very, very bullishly rejected the 1 cent mark. And again, it's broken this recent local high. So it's broken this recent local high. Again, if we go off, say, the Moon King style, then again, it would have to reconfirm this by basically bouncing off this. So when, like, he would basically share, like, this would probably be a time to buy. So in his laws of meme coins, those are the kinds of things that he'd be looking out for. So also, we're having an increase in volume. We're having a slight increase in volume, but to be perfectly honest, this is probably more so being dragged up by pDAI. So pDAI itself is actually dragging it up. So now the piece of confirmation for me was not only these two little signals here, but it was this. It was this signal here. So I've had this line sitting on here for a while, and this is Heiken-Ashi, and the candle, the wick has now broken through, and the body is forming. So this is Heiken-Ashi, yes, but essentially when it's going sideways like this, I was showing that this is bearish. When it's going sideways, or when down is going up against a Atropa, then it's bearish. So sideways is bearish, up against the Atropa is bearish. Now, when down is going bearish against a Atropa, the way that I'm assessing that is liquidity is flowing from down into a Atropa. So then liquidity is flowing from down into a Atropa, pumping a Atropa, and then probably also pumping pDAI as well. So those liquidity flows are flowing around and through the ecosystem. So now, if we have a look at if there's any signs here, I haven't actually looked at this. So I'm going to be looking at this for the first time on the stream. Is there any signs here? Yeah, there is. There is a sign here. So basically, that validates exactly what I just said. So down. So basically, the way that you can look at this is liquidity flowed from down. So it started to push through these levels, and before the body was down here. So it started to push through these levels. So yesterday I showed it where the wick was kind of just touching. Now it's pushed through. So down has flowed into Atropa, and then Atropa has flowed into pDAI, because we can see this in this red candle, and pDAI is pumped. And consequently then, against the US dollar, Atropa has also pumped. This is the beauty of the Atropa ecosystem. This is the beauty of this totality of the system. And this is only just one piece of the puzzle. Then if we have a look at Teddy Bear's broken all-time highs against PulseChain. It's just, it did 32.77% move today in 24 hours. So for me, I'm looking at all this and it's like, we're back. That's how I feel. Could be wrong. Maybe I've missed something, but from all my indicators, from all the ways that I've been assessing the charts, for me, it's like, okay, I feel very confident now. We're now entering the next phase of the bullish market of the Atropa ecosystem, which is also the bullish market of pDAI. That's how I feel now. So if you haven't packed your bags yet, yeah, I think you're basically going to just be buying green candles. The one thing that you might hope on is a scenario like this, where it goes up and it comes back down and retests this. That might be the last opportunity, and that might be the lowest that it's ever going to be. So I really wanted to share that. And then BHP Source, so on Twitter. So when I shared this tweet today, he said, how's that contract at play that has sold down 46K worth of down today into Atropa? So just minting a ton of Pulse through some contract interaction. So he basically shared that this contract is 3 days old, according to DBank. It's been selling a ton of assets. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here because I'm actually perfectly honest. To be perfectly honest, this is not really my forte. Like looking at DBank sort of stuff, it's not really my thing. But yeah, so there's almost really no point bringing it up. But basically, what he was saying is this wallet, somehow, this 3-day-old wallet somehow has been minting PulseChain, which I imagine is maybe like pumping down and then selling down into Atropa. That's the way that I'm kind of looking at it. So there's all these little liquidity flows and bits and pieces that are happening. So again, looking at the total system, not looking at any one individual token. Oh, down is going down. Oh, I've got a big bag of down and it's going down. The devs are selling down, but what else are they doing with the down? Where else is it flowing into? That's really the important thing. That's the important piece of the puzzle for me. So yeah, I think, yeah, here we go. So this thing is, I don't know what it's doing, but whatever it's doing, it's like continuously minting. I mean, there's 113,000 Pulse, 12,000 Pulse, 30,000 Pulse. I don't know what it's doing. I'll be honest. If anyone knows what it's doing, if anyone has any guesses, please share away. Oh, Neon. Interesting, because I've been seeing things about Neon, unless someone like airdropped Neon here. So now this has got 51 million pDAI. I mean, if whatever it's doing, it's doing some sort of execution. So 50 seconds ago, another 44,000. So just, yeah, it's just like spamming this. It's spamming whatever this is. So then this PulseChain is probably then, yeah, like I said, going into maybe down, which is then going into Atropa. I don't know, but that's pretty cool. So there's another cool little piece of blockchain evidence. So this is the thing. It's like, we can speculate as much as we want, but yeah, the evidence is, it's on the chain. That's how I feel. So I don't know how you guys feel as well. So all right, so before we get on to the next section, I'll bring the charts. I will leave these charts here because let's just stare at these charts while I address these comments, because these charts are just, is there a better chart than this? Not only this, by the way, not only this, I forgot to bring this up actually. The freaking Richard Hart tweet about pDAI. I forgot to bring that up. Did I bookmark it? I don't think I did. But Richard Hart again tweeted about pDAI and saying how it's done thousands and thousands and thousands of X's. And this is an opportunity for everybody on this particular blockchain. So look, everyone sees these things as FUD, and it's like, well, not everyone sees these things as FUD. People see these things as very, very bullish. Obviously, when Richard tweets about it and doesn't say a negative thing about it, people read that as like, okay, he's behind it or whatever, or he's not FUDding it, so that's bullish. I also read it in that manner as well. I also read it as like, okay, this is like, he's not saying anything bad against it. But then again, yeah, again, trying to be as neutral as possible. I feel like he's just being neutral. I feel like he's just objectively saying things as they are. And I feel like he's probably done that from the start of PulseChain. He hasn't really like said anything bad against this or positive against that. He simply showed things as they are. So even when it's like a bullish Richard Hart core coins, like the 4 core coins, he's really just presenting to you the information. Okay, this is what's happened. They're all green today. And isn't this great? He doesn't say, okay, buy this thing now, but he doesn't FUD it either. So it seems like it's a very neutral perspective, but really there's this chart, and what a beautiful chart. And if people come to this blockchain just to dump their pDAI, no problem. Come and dump your pDAI, come and dump your 10-cent pDAI, fill up our liquidity pools. The liquidity providers will get rewarded with the volume. No problem. You guys just sell out those tokens, because they're probably not going to believe in the dollar narrative. They're just going to think, oh, I've got free tokens over here. And that's also more bullish. The more of those tokens that go into liquidity, the more chance it has of getting to $1. So even though there's going to be sellers along the way, people outside of the blockchain, that was a FUD point. Like, oh, what about all these people who hold like millions of pDAI, or like hundreds of millions of pDAI, all these whales that don't even know anything about PulseChain? They'll just come and dump it. Come and dump it. Come and fill up our liquidity pools, and then it just gets converted into buy pressure. So that sell pressure gets deleted, gets converted into buy pressure. Take your money, and then you can just leave the chain, no problem. Or again, that's the negative perspective. The positive perspective is they'll come here and go, what's going on here? I've got tens of millions of these pDAI tokens, and they're worth 10 cents. What the hell? How did this happen? What's going on here on PulseChain? Oh my gosh, there's this PRC20 narrative. There's the Atropa ecosystem. There's Ptgc, there's X, there's Tangang. There's this whole life that's happening on this blockchain that I had no idea about. I'm going to start providing liquidity here. I'm going to start bridging over some of my assets from Ethereum and Solana and wherever else. Like there's always two sides to the same coin. So most people who don't want this to succeed and only want you to buy their coins will say the negative perspective, of course, because their perspective is skewed. So, I mean, even Too Spooky. So Too Spooky in the Dysnomia chat the other day basically mentioned something about, there was a tweet of his about how like retarded the Atropa Pt I people are, and if we didn't get sucked into this scam, then we could all help pump dick with butt, and that would bring eyeballs to the chain. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely some validity to that, but let's expand that concept and actually, what we're talking about, what he's talking about there is like unifying our liquidity into something to make it pump. But unfortunately for him, the vast majority of the chain, the majority of the chain seems to be more interested in the narrative of the P stables. Dick with butt is just another meme. It's like, okay, it's just one of billions and billions of memes. So what? This is far, 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 far more interesting. So even if it's all crackpot theories, it's still bringing eyeballs to the chain, and I would suspect it's still going to bring more eyeballs to the chain than really any other thing that's happening on this blockchain. Ivan on TechBort, for goodness sakes. He didn't come and buy dick with butt. He came to buy pDAI. So yeah, let's like the concept of unity, the core message of unity in his tweet was brilliant, but it's like misguided unity. It's unity towards a thing which benefits him the most. The unity which benefits all of us the most is actually getting united around the totality of the blockchain. I'm not saying let's get united around pDAI, but it definitely is the thing which is the hottest narrative. So while I leave this beautiful, sexy, what a chart, what an absolutely glorious chart. Like this is art. This is art. It's glorious. So thank you so much, Matt. I always appreciate your support, man. So thank you for looking forward to my streams. Thank you for always being here and commenting. So yes, Puffy, very, very exciting. Pedro. So obviously this is not the Pedro from Twitter, but yeah, I've got a bone to pick with Pedro's. Well, not a bone to pick, but yeah, thanks TS Pedro. There was another Pedro who's been FUDding XUSD, so I want to address those in the next segment. So everything is definitely lining up. Like it's just, like how good can it? I don't know. How many more signals do we need? That's how I feel. Like how it just seems like all the things are lining up. And if for me, it's just. What's beautiful is the convictions that I'm having and continue to have are just slowly unraveling right before my eyes. So what's going on, Rocky Balboa? Solana can suck everyone's balls, to be honest. So Solana stinks. There's really not much happening there. So I'm in it for the glory and love. Me too, man. Huzzers, what's going on? Yeah, that has also just mooned to the absolute, like, amazingness. So what's up, Hexicans? I'm here for the tech and the girls. I'll take the money too while I'm here. In fact, a little disappointed that crypto has gone so meme, as I like the innovation in DeFi. I would agree with this. I think it's a tricky thing. The thing which attracted me most to crypto in the first place was the DeFi and the tech, the concept. It's like, okay, we don't need banks anymore. This is revolutionary. But then what really got me into it was the money. But this is why PulseChain is by far the goated, like without exception, simply because, well, really, to be perfectly honest, simply because of the Atropa ecosystem. There's nothing like it on the planet. So as a DeFi invention, everyone's going to be doing the Atropa ecosystem in the future. And it's just, it just blows my mind that still people aren't really. I heard Matty Allen saying that he's only started finding out about like liquidity webs thanks to St. Wolf's streams. And I was like, Matty Allen, like how's he only just heard about this? This is, wow, like, wow. So even the most staunch maxis are still not getting what's actually happening on this blockchain. So, but Matty, that's no criticism against Matty because he's open-minded and he's into pDAI. So good on you, Matty. So after RH's recent wrapped Bitcoin and DAI tweets, everyone is going mental for those coins, but they are all forgetting this is all part of the Atropa ecosystem. Maria, due more credit for creating something amazing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't say that they're necessarily due to the Atropa ecosystem, but the Atropa ecosystem plays a huge part in, or it seems to play a huge part in basically continuing to lift them up. So this whole concept of Hart's law, nobody's doing Hart's law better than nobody's doing Hart's law better than Maria. Nobody, not a single. Like Ptgc is absolutely incredible, but it's not doing Hart's law. It's Ptgc is doing Hart's law plus pumpamentals. Nobody's doing it better than Ptgc, Hart's law, pumpamentals together. But Hart's law as a concept and the way that ratios can be manipulated to pump things in certain ways, like just look at this. Just look at this. Down pumps Atropa. And then, where was it? And then Atropa, it's still going up. But Atropa to pDAI is going down. But because of the ratios of the bonding, it's still going up. Nobody does Hart's law better than Maria. Nobody. What's going on, Richard? Richard, what's good, BP Crypto? What's going on? Good morning, everybody. So I heard Richard's lawyers were going to advise the Trump administration on crypto. Maybe that has happened. Pump it, trumpet, pump it. Yeah, I mean, that could well have been it. Like, you know, lawyers are involved in making laws and writing laws. So I don't know. I'm reading between the lines. Put it that way. So pDAI, what's going on? Craig Blake, oh man, haven't seen you in a while. What's going on, man? So do you think the SEC should try and prosecute the people in crypto who commit fraud? Oh boy. You know, for me, it's not a black and white thing, Craig, because everyone is a hypocrite. I see the people that do the prosecuting are also the hypocrites. So it's like, you know, you think about something like OJ Simpson, and for me, it was just so bleedingly obvious that he did it, but he got away with it because of the law. So it's like the law doesn't necessarily represent the truth, put it that way. So from my perspective, there is no truth in this construct of human society. All the government agencies are corrupt. I see the same things in Australia. People basically giving backdoor deals to their buddies. There was like this massive like $1 million deal that did like nothing, and it was one of like the prime minister at the time basically just like, it was just one of his buddies, and it was some like non-profit organization that ended up getting millions and millions of dollars, and they did nothing with it. And it was just like, what the hell is going on here? So do I think that they should prosecute the people in crypto who commit fraud? That's such a difficult question for me to answer, because are the prosecutors themselves infallible from the fraud? Because everybody's defrauding everybody, everybody's lying to everybody, and everybody's a hypocrite against everybody. So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the extent of the fraud. So if for example, like this blockchain was a massive fraud and we've all been duped, and it ends up just going like everybody gets rugged, and Richard Hart ends up with all these tens of millions of dollars, and it was like the biggest biggest defrauding moment in probably in global history, then yeah, of course they should go for it. But yeah, for me, there's a fine line with the law. There's a really fine line because it really doesn't represent the truth. It's really just it's an imperfect version of the truth. But yeah, that's a really good question. So you truly do give a lot of value in our file. Thanks, man. Oh, thanks, Row Up. All right, so I'm just going to, oh boy, there's tons of questions, tons of comments here. So maybe, glad I killed another credit card and bought some more pDAI a couple of days ago. And some hex. Oh boy, that's good on you, man. Well done. So Ptgc is exploding. Ptgc is always exploding. There isn't a time where Ptgc isn't exploding. What, actually, you know what? Let's I think, let's do this. Let's have a quick look. I just want to have a look at what, all right, so biggest 24 Aave. Interesting. Monet, 34%. That's nice. Atropa, Pumpin. I mean, all those teddy bears. Look at all those teddy bears. Yeah, teddy bears dragging everything up. Oh, XUSD. Oh, 30% for XUSD. Damn. Nice. BFF that delete. UFO, Finvesta, Pulse Miami, UFO again. Ord is here we go. Ptgc, 20%. Nice. Pulse Pup, Steady Pup, the pup with the steady nature. What a beautiful G Baby that the Guat, Solid X. Things are moving. Actually, G Baby, I might actually have a quick look at this because the last time I looked, G Baby wasn't looking too good. But if it's done a 20% pump, that's or nearly a 20% pump against that's pretty good. So I suspect, I wonder how much of that has actually come through buyers and how much is just through liquidity bonding. I might have to do a G Baby, like a G Baby, more of a G Baby deep dive because it's been a while with G Baby that the Guat, and it is the latest kind of meme within the Atropa ecosystem. So, okay, all right, yeah, I mean it's kind of coming off the floor, but it still hasn't broken its all-time highs. Oh, yeah, I mean it's local all-time high. So yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, I mean it's It needs to do a lot more. So Ptgc has been so good to me. I purchased a $50 bag at some point, and it's now nearly $600. Nice, man. Good morning, Frankie Lloyd White. I was lucky to find Ptgc. Wow, lots of Ptgc bulls in here. So nice one, guys and girls in here. So it is the best. The alien tech there's nothing like it. Nothing like it's just such a beautifully designed. It's just such an epically designed thing. The way that the pools just buy and burn against each other to always create actions and reactions, which creates more actions and reactions. It's just this perpetual system, which is why it just continues to pump. It's like when people say that there's no innovation on PulseChain, look at Ptgc as a pumpamentals thing. There is no, like Solana is just in one way, out one way. Ptgc is like, it's a revolutionary pumpamentals project. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Nothing. And yeah, so the team behind Ptgc, you guys, but you know, this is why it's a beautiful thing. The team that's behind it, they wouldn't have just come up with this idea on their own. Everything is like built on top of the shoulders of giants. So it probably would have been exploring the Atropa ecosystem and seeing what's going on here with Hart's Law. Look at everything that's happening here. I mean, look at this chart. Jesus, what a stunning, ridiculous, insane. What? It's just, what? It's just insane. Look at this chart. I mean, that's on logarithmic. I mean, it looks even better in linear. Like, and you look at this, you're like, it's got to have a pullback. I mean, when you look at, I think it was, oh boy. I mean, this was September. You're like, yeah, it's got to have a big 80% pullback. You only got 30%, a 30% pullback. And again, here it's like, it's got to be a big pullback. You only had 25%. It's absolutely insane. And now a lot more people are starting to see it. A lot more people are starting to talk about it. So this is a DeFi revolution in itself, the design of this, and it's built on top of the shoulders of giants. So they would have learned about liquidity webs on the Atropa ecosystem, and they would have basically innovated on elements of that and added their own twist to it with the buys and burns and pumpamentals. So it's really like the consciousness of this blockchain. It's the consciousness of this blockchain that is the revolution. That's been my argument from the start. So there's nothing like it. So everyone's obsessed with the price performance. I see the consciousness. I see the future. And yeah, in the future, it's maybe people will look back on this channel and go, oh, wow, he was talking about it all that time ago and he had like deep conviction. He wasn't crazy after all. Anyone having error messages trying to bridge in? I haven't bridged in for a while, so I'm not too sure. So our bots often look like that. Oh, maybe that's what it was. If you were talking about the debank. So boy, there's heaps of comments here and they just keep flooding through. Wow, okay, wow. Thank you so much, guys and girls, for interacting. So I might move on to the next stage because it's going to take me hang on. Post that address from DBank. Okay, what I'll do, so the address for DBank, if anyone wants to have a look at this, I'll post that here. So Frankie Lloyd White, you can have a look at it there. And I'm just gonna, man, nice. Ryan John, nice to see you in here, bro. I don't think I've ever seen you in here before. Sharknado, what's going on, brother? David, good to see you in here, bro. Love your work, bro. Thank you for the confidence. Thank you for the information. Thank you for everything you're doing, bro. Even on a negative comment, you find the positive. Love you, bro. Zymus, that's beautiful. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And sometimes I feel like, am I being like just coping and just forcefully positive energy? But I feel like the energy that I'm projecting it's backed up by data. It's backed up by information. I'm not just out here saying, oh, yeah, eventually we're going to pump and this is the greatest thing. Like, I'm actually showing you the charts of the information that I'm seeing, the liquidity flows. I've been studying this for like a year and a half now, and I'm seeing the information here. I'm seeing the data and I'm seeing what's actually happening. So it's giving me the conviction of the direction that we're going. So I appreciate that comment, man. But really, it's really thanks to this blockchain. So yeah, smash the likes. And yeah, share this out. So let's get on to the next stage. So XUSD, I'm really happy to see that it pumped. I'm really happy to see it pumped massively. It's 30%. That's wild. That's really, really wild. So, okay. So a couple of things that I wanted to clarify about XUSD. Obviously, let's measure it now to the dollar. So I've got it here. So now, so this was yesterday. So first of all, one point of clarification is the distribution phase is actually, damn it. I need to share this stream in the XUSD. Damn it. I'll have to share it after. So if anyone is in XUSD, can you please share the link out in the XUSD Telegram? I forgot to share it out in the XUSD Telegram. I shared it everywhere else but the XUSD. So, all right. So yeah, yesterday it was down here and we were sitting on how many X's? Like about 300X. Now today, this is how quick it can move. So it's 216X. When I was showing it the other day, it was about a 540. It was in the 500Xs. So in the space of a week, it's looking good. It's pumping, but we're still in the distribution phase, which means tokens are being minted out, which means there's still going to be trading happening as well. And this could also mean prices are lower. But again, really learn about what this project is. So yesterday, as also I said, it was 25 week for the distribution phase. It's actually 26 weeks. So I'm very happy with that. We've got an extra week of distribution. So we got 8 weeks, not 7. So I'm incredibly pleased with that. Now, I want to address one error that I made yesterday. So one big error that I made yesterday. And so this is some ratio / liquidity providing alpha. So now if I put the ratio to pDAI. So what I was saying incorrectly was, here we go. So where's all my numbers? Okay, so what I was saying here, I must have deleted it. So, I mean, yeah, I was looking at, that's right, because I took a screenshot. Okay, so, all right, so, okay, so, if I have 100,000 pDAI, so the ratio is still about the same. So it's 1 to 4. So if I have 100,000 pDAI, so if I just do a straight ratio swap, basically 100,000 pDAI would go for. So there's two ways that I was talking about playing this, and so this piece of information was correct, XUSD, and then if I swapped it, why did it do that? What is that? Why did it? Background. Okay, take that off. Actually, I tell you what, that's actually I don't mind that. I don't mind that with the background. Nice, makes it a little bit more clearer, possibly. I'll see how I feel about it. Anyway, maybe it can differentiate different things. So, okay, so that's a ratio swap. If it was a liquidity providing position, obviously what would end up happening is if you had 100,000 pDAI, you put that into liquidity, you would end up having, it would be like 50,000. So for a liquidity providing position, you would end up having 50,000. Actually, I won't do that in the sense of the swap. I'll just do that in the sense of, oh, how did I do it yesterday? Whatever I did, it was wrong. That's all I know. Yeah, let's just say it from a liquidity providing position as well. So you could do a ratio swap. That's what you're going to get. Let's just say, you know what? I've got 100,000 pDAI. I'm also going to buy 400,000 XUSD, and I'm going to create a liquidity pool. So now this is our LP here. So I'll make this a different color. Purple for liquidity providing. So now we're providing liquidity. Now what I had mistakenly said is once it gets to 1-to-1, basically I divided these tokens. So the calculation I did was incorrect. So I said, yeah, so this, okay, I'm jumping around a little bit here. Sorry, guys and girls. So, okay, so now this is clear. So therefore, this to this, so this ratio swap for here, 400,000. If it goes back up to, if it goes to parity 1-to-1, then I can swap half and half. I can swap, and then I'd have 200,000 on each side. That piece of information is correct. However, if I do a liquidity providing position, what I said was I would have, because there's 500,000 tokens here, I would have 250 on each side. So then it makes it look like the liquidity providing option is just clearly mathematically better. But this is incorrect. This is not to say that the liquidity providing option is not going to be better, but it's incorrect because the calculation is wrong. So the way that I calculated that obviously is basically token A, which is pDAI. I did it 100,000, obviously plus. So token A, actually, I'll make it very, very clear. Token A plus token B. And so in this instance, the token B would have been the 400,000 XUSD equals your position. So then 500,000. So therefore, when it gets up to there, that's what it would equal. So equals K, the constant. But this is incorrect. It's actually token A multiplied by token B. And I have covered this in the past, equals K. So therefore, 100,000. So from a liquidity providing perspective, so 100,000 times 400,000 equals. All right. So let's get the old calculator out. So 100,000 times 400,000 equals 40 billion. So that's our constant. So I'll put the commas in here as well so it's nice and clear. All right, so therefore, let's just shift this across. Therefore, when it gets up to this point, oh, how did I work this out? I did it in a tweet. Did I show it in the tweet? Crap, I showed it in the tweet. I might even have to go through my old tweets because I always forget. Here we go. Actually, I can just Google it. This. I mean, you know, what an invention, right? Google. Liquidity pool ratio formula. There we go. So, yep. X times Y equals K. So this, it gave me an example yesterday as well. Damn it, where's my example? No, it gave me an example which made it like super clear. Once I see the example. Oh, no. Damn it. Well, that's no good. All right, I'm going to have to go through my tweet because I did work it out and I tweeted about it. So I'm just going to, this is why I have to keep doing the same thing again. Oh. Let's look at this tweet as well. What's this? Hey, Bretap, we'll have a look at this in just a second. All right, so close this. All right, so where was the tweet? Okay, I think it was this. Was it that one? Oh, was it that one? Oh, I think it was this one here. All right. So yes, it's this one here. So here we go. So my apologies that it took so long to bring all this up. Okay. Give me the tweet. All right. So what you got to actually do. So okay, so obviously this is what it was yesterday, so I've just taken it as 1 to 4. But yes, I mean, yeah, it should actually be like 1 to 4.165, but I'm just doing it 1 to 4 just for simplicity's sake. So you'd take the square root. That's right, the square root, which means, okay, so then the square root of this number, so 40 million. So the square root of 4, square root, what? Okay, hang on a second. How do you do that? So square root 40 million equals, okay, maybe you have to put the number and then put square root. Okay, so 200,000. So it would actually be the same, interestingly enough, as doing a ratio swap if you ended up swapping 1 for 1. I hope that makes sense. I've kind of jumped around a little bit, so I'll just kind of clarify that now. So let me just minimize this. So basically, instead of incorrectly doing that, so then, in other words, when it gets to 1 to 1, you take the square root because it's equal 1 to 1 on either side. So it'll be the square root of this number, which ends up being 200,000. So therefore, you would have 200,000 of both tokens in the pool, which would represent the same as if you did a ratio swap here and then basically swapped back half, and you just swap half of it. So you would have half and half. It would be the same. The difference here, though, with the 200,000, the difference here is the yield that you're generating by providing liquidity. That's the difference. That's the difference that's going to make this a better option. So the yield in this is compounding yield, FYI. So the yield is we'll get to this one in a second. So the yield, I think it was like 30%. Oh man, here we go. So yesterday when I looked, it was 30%. So 30% is not the highest that it's ever been, just FYI. So 30%, and it's quite low. So it was very high at the start. It trended down. Now it's starting to trend up. Does that mean it's going to continue to trend up? Possibly. I believe that the pDAI XUSD pool is quite thick in comparison to pDAI. It's definitely the thickest in comparison to XUSD, which means a lot of volume just through arbitrage is going to flow through this liquidity pool. So if you're getting 30% APR and it's compounding as well, so you're getting the yield. So this is without compounding then. So if this took a year, if this ended up taking a year, obviously then with our 30%, hang on. I need a LP reward APR 7-day performance. So that's 30.9% within a 7-day period. So it's the compounding part that's the beauty, the compounding magic. So obviously if that was 30%, let's say it takes a year to peg. If that was just 30% for the year, then you would have 260,000 on either side because you're getting 30% extra tokens. Is it 30% extra tokens on either side? Because if it's 30%, well, yeah, this is what it would be either way then. So you would have 260,000 of each, but it's compounding. So that's 30% within a 7-day period. What if that jumps up to 100% within a 7-day period? So let's say you're starting off. So now if we go back to this example down here, so now this is our starting point. Let's just move this over to here. So this is our starting point. So now this is what you'd have in liquidity, but then it's compounding 30%. So let's say it compounds 30% within a week. So 400,000 times 30%. Wow. So, wow. That's really, really, really Really, 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 really good. Wow. That's no, that seems too good. I've done something wrong. That's too good. There's no way. 30% LP reward. Yeah, okay, hang on a second, because it's like oh man, I've calculated all this stuff in the past. I have to really I have to go back on my one of my old tweets to find that information. I've forgotten how it is. I'm gonna have to re-clarify this point again. But I guess the point is, in any case, it's going to continue to compound. So 30% reward APR. So yeah, the 30% is not an extra 30% tokens. It's really just a gosh damn. Anyway, whatever. It's frustrating me because I want to know. I've done it in the past, but now I've forgotten because it's definitely not that, because that's way too good. That's just way too good. It's not going to be that after a week. Let me just see the comments, see if anyone's kind of like clarified this. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Hexhibitionist, I've had no issues with PulseX. So just up your slippage to like maybe something over 10 or something like this. And yeah, up your slippage and PulseX. I've had no issues whatsoever. So maybe just pDAI. It doesn't route very well through pDAI. I'm not too sure. So try PulseX. Anyway, you guys get the point either way. So it's not going to be that. Yeah. It's not going to be, but all right, I've said that too many times. It's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. Anyway, it's going to be more, right? So whatever it's going to be, let's just say by the end of the week, you won't have, 30%, you're not going to have this much, but let's just say you have that, but then it's compounding continuously. That's the beauty. So then the next it's just compounding daily continuously. So then the next 7 days, it's compounded on top of that 7 days. But again, it's being done daily. So yeah, it's due to compounding. If there was no compounding, no interest, then it would just be 200, 200,000, 200,000. But because of compounding and the volume that's going to flow through it, I would expect that to be more like, I would expect that to be a lot more. I would expect that to be at least 50% more on either side if it was done over a year's time. And I would say that would be conservative. So that really frustrates the heck out of me. Let me just have a quick. I've done a video on it. I've done a bloody video on it. And I've forgotten. Oh, but this is why. I never project myself as an expert. I'm continuously learning. I'm learning by doing. I forget things. Let me just see if it's like a recently bookmarked one. Because if it's recently bookmarked, at least I can at least show the math of what 30% means on that. That's right. That's right. Okay. That's what it is. I remember now. So yes, 30% is correct, but then you will get a portion of that 30% based on how much you actually own of that liquidity pool. That's right. Okay. Sorry for this chop. Damn it. Now I've lost that tweet as well, have I? Here we go. Okay. So therefore, if there is 116, I'm just going to make numbers up just for the sake of this. Let's say there's 100,000 liquidity in there. And 100,000 liquidity is, so I'm just going to make this up. Let's say there's 100,000 liquidity, and 100,000 liquidity actually means there's 100 million pDAI and 400 million 400 million XUSD. That means I would own no, wrong way around. I always get that the wrong way around. Divided by 100 million. Or no, I'll put it, it's 100 billion rather. Whoops. Oh, man. Is that correct? That also doesn't seem right. Oh, yeah, that's probably right. So then I would get that much of the 30%. I would get that much of the 30% of the yield. So obviously, the more that you own of the pool, the more of the yield, the percentage of the yield that you're getting. And that's where on PulseX you'll be able to see. So in any case, yeah, I hope that was really, really poorly explained and maybe confusing and convoluted. I'll make another clearer video about that in the future. So now addressing some of this FUD. So yesterday's stream. So Pedro, I think this is the Pedro from St. Wolf's. I think this is the Pedro. I think it's him. So he's saying XUSD is a total scam, completely rid of admin keys and hidden code. WTF are you doing? So yeah, there's no evidence that it's a scam. It does have admin keys, and this has been addressed. So the FUD has been addressed, but I'll address it again. So here's me addressing it again. So the admin keys is obviously a Richard Hart ethos that people within the Richard Hart ecosystem really hold true to. But most projects will have an admin key. So the Wraps Bitcoin has an admin key. I think pDAI has an admin key. I know USDT and USDC have admin keys. Like, admin keys are very normal. Obviously, when a contract is renounced and it's like a meme coin, then there's no admin keys. There's no need for an admin key. But the design of this protocol is through the nature of the protocol to burn its way to the dollar mark. So if we go back to this chart, this 26-week chart, there needs to be admin keys in order to fulfill the mint function until week 26. And then it's going to change. So it's going to go into a different phase. So there's going to be no more distribution. So this is why the admin keys need to be utilized. The contract needs to be adjusted, or things need to be adjusted along the phases. So it's perfectly normal. And again, it's really, it is from a purely Richard Hart perspective. Obviously, if you're just like totally against admin keys, then this is probably not going to be the project for you, honestly speaking, because yes, there are admin keys, but it's a requirement in order for it to do what it needs to do. And so Pedro went on to say that, I said it literally can't be done without it. And he said, if they cannot literally work without admin keys, which is of course retardio, I don't know, maybe don't promote it while they don't fix the issue. So I said, fair enough, man, you're entitled to your opinion, but I have no issue with it. I've been doing this for over a year, and nothing is more important to me than my reputation. And I really, really do mean that. I really, 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 really do mean that. And this is something where Pedro and I won't align. He seems like a very rational kind of guy, very evidence-based person. So yeah, for him, seeing this and like, okay, this is what the code is saying. This is what the data is saying. That's what I'm basing my decision off. I don't base my decisions strictly on that. I base my decision on my heart and my mind. That's probably one of my superpowers, to be perfectly honest. So when I talk to the team and I'm assessing the team and I'm feeling that situation and my levels of comfort with the team, if I feel extremely calm and I don't have anything in the back of my mind that's like giving me a faint sense of discomfort, then I know that I'm in the right spot. I know that I'm in the right spot because that's been the trajectory of my life. I've always followed that principle and I've never, not once, been led astray. It's what led me to Richard Hart. It's what's given me the conviction in Richard Hart. Just one of the thousands and thousands of examples in my life. On the other hand, when there's people that I know who are secretly conspiring against me or have something against me or bitching behind my back or anything like this, I can feel that in the conversation. I feel very uncomfortable with that particular person. Now, there's a key difference between a discomfort in basically our vibrational frequencies are having some kind of a clash because we both maybe have some like shyness amongst each other. So if there's a shyness match with a shyness, then it's going to create a sensation of discomfort. But I can tell the difference between something like that, where the mind is basically similar form of discomfort, to a mind that's like, this person is a snake and this person is against me. I know the difference. I know the difference. And I didn't get that from the team. So for me, I just feel very comfortable. So I did my research. I asked around the community. I found out who Anders was. I spoke to the team. I've spoken to most of them one-on-one. I feel very, very comfortable with the team. And I would not jeopardize the reputation that I built up for the last year and a half for nothing. I would not do that. This is the only project that I'm actually getting remunerated for. This is it. This is the only project. So I was very, 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 very delicate and making sure that I felt like I was in the right spot. And I based that purely or on the evidence that I saw, and mostly, honestly, skewed towards a conversation that I had with them. So that's something that obviously a person who's rationally minded will not be able to accept. So if it's something where you're like, oh, there's admin keys, then yeah, simply just don't go down the avenue of this project. But for me, the opportunity and the upside is just too good. It's really, really too good. There's so many awesome, awesome things about this that I just love. I just love it. I love it. And the more that I learn about it, the more that I love. And even yesterday's stream where I was talking about that tax hack, I was saying that to Katrina, who basically came up with, where I was showing the model that she came up with. And after I did the stream, I was talking to her, and she was saying that she was also speaking to John about tax implications of XUSD at the same time. On the opposite side of the world, they're also talking about tax. So they've had this moment of inspiration, this idea of like, hey, this can actually be really cool for tax. At the same time, on the same day, me on the other side of the world is also having that same, what I feel is like a divinely inspired moment that gives me like deep conviction and confidence in the project at the same time. That synchronicity, those synchronicities, like, that's my evidence. Nobody will ever be able to take that away from me. So again, the future, time will be the judge. So you can be the judge of the data that you see now. For me, I'm in the future, and everything is already sorted and everything is all okay. So, all right, let's just address some of these things here. What's going on, Clintrons? What's going on, Clintrons? X hit $1. Actually, X is more than $1 before any P copy. Did it now? Oh, yeah, you're right. Exactly. You're right, actually. Very good point, Blockhead. Very, very good. Very, very good point. So, yeah, it did. So, but then, I mean, yes and no. I mean, these candles, I never really pay too much attention to them. I guess if you're looking at it to the ratio of pDAI, then it did, but I wouldn't really look at it like that. Let's have a look at it against USD. Yeah, I don't know why this chart is like not right. This chart is not right for some reason. This XUSD USD chart is, for some reason, it's so completely different to this chart, even though they're both showing price and XUSD. I don't understand this. If anyone knows why this is, like, to the dollar, it's like, it's insane. It's like millions and millions of X's. So I don't get why. I don't get why it shows this on this chart, but it doesn't show it in this way on the other USD chart. This is like a mystery to me. So there's no way you're talking about XUSD. It's a silly tomb fork on PulseChain being portrayed as a stable project. Cringe. There's no way you're really talking about XUSD. It's a silly tomb fork. I don't know what tomb is. Yeah, I mean, obviously there is a way, because here I am talking about it. So yeah, if you don't like it, then just don't buy it. No problem whatsoever, man. There's plenty of other things that I talk about. So if you don't like the channel based on that, then I would say you're missing out on a lot of other alpha. But yeah, man, you're certainly entitled to your own opinion. So what's going on, man? Much love to you too, bro. Anyone talks bad about you must be evil, bro. You always try your best to be fair. Keep it up, man. Oh, appreciate that, Zymus. So what are your thoughts on G-Baby? Will it race back to 14K and help with Treasury Bills Reserve? I think I'm going to go into G-Baby and Treasury Bill on another episode. I touched on it briefly at the start, but I want to do more of a deep dive on liquidity pools and everything like that. But I don't want these streams to be like ridiculously long anymore. It's just, yeah, I don't want it to affect my sleep. So I'll finish up a little bit. I'll continue with this now. So okay, so this was an interesting aspect of XUSD. So as you trade, so for example, now this is an update. So you've got this time left until your next epoch. So before you can actually take advantage of these rewards. Oh, actually, damn it. Yeah, I'm still learning all this stuff. I'm pretty sure you don't need a vibe path to take advantage of these rewards. But basically, for example, I think what a lot of people are doing, so every 6 hours, there's a new epoch. Now there's a counter. So the next epoch is going to occur in 1 hour and 2 minutes. 1 hour and 1 minute. Okay, so this is like a bizarre kind of a time. I'm going to refresh that because that's when I was looking at it before, I thought it was to the hour, but maybe my brain just jumped to the hour, but it was never actually to the hour when I was looking at to the Brisbane to the hour. Okay, yeah, 1 hour and 1 minute. Interesting. Okay, so then you would go down to the different epochs to see what rewards are available. So now, the way that this works, what I've kind of worked out is, so basically, let's have a look at. They've all been used. Okay, so let's say usually PulseChain goes first, but basically if you swap, so there's 80,400 epoch rewards that go out. So XUSD rewards that go out. So if you do a certain volume of trading, whether that's buying or selling, then you can get up to 1,000. So I'll just show you the first epoch because at least the first epoch shows where it wasn't fully done. So here, for instance, you can see here, there's 30,000. So total epoch rewards, 50,000 have been accumulated, and there was still 30,400 left. But obviously this epoch has ended. So each new epoch, this all gets reset to zero. The max reward stays like this, but the total epochs will get reset to zero. So then you have an opportunity. Your max is 1,000, and so as you trade, and I've kind of I've only just started doing it, but as you trade, basically like $100 worth of tokens, then that's going to get you your 1,000. So basically, what it seems like people are doing is really, some people would maybe set up bots where they're literally just like swapping PulseChain for XUSD and then back into PulseChain, and then that's if they do it like $100 worth, then it will get the $1,000 reward. So there's all these little ways that you can play and kind of like game this system. But by doing that, by doing the trades, you're also burning tokens. That's the thing. And so as you're burning the tokens, this is where you want to get your vibe pass, because as you're doing the trading and as you're burning your tokens, when it comes to having a vibe pass, when it comes to getting to the point where it's going to oscillate around the dollar mark, that's where having your reward pool share is going to make a big difference. So the more trading volume that you do now, the more holding you do, the more that you contribute to the ecosystem, the more reward pools that you're going to do. So the way I'm thinking about this is, again, when I was thinking about this from the perspective of a tax hack, if this reward pool stays up above a certain percentage, let's say, I don't know, let's dream big here. This is just dreaming big. Let's say I've got 10 million XUSD and I have 10% reward pool. So then that 10%, the reward pool, that's 1 million XUSD. So then I would just literally I'd leave that 10 million forever. And then I would just continuously burn and buy and burn and mint and burn and swap and trade that 1 million to keep my reward pool share up. So then I'm, again, not touching my principles. So yeah, this is just one of the really cool and beautiful things about XUSD. So yeah, it's interesting. It has a lot of, it's concerning to me that it has a lot of FUD around it, because I mean, obviously also I might have got something wrong. I might have got some information wrong. Maybe there's something in the code. I didn't read the code. I don't know how to read the code. Maybe there's something in the code which is like some massive bug in it and it's not going to be possible. But again, the synchronicities, the confidence that I had with the team, everybody's pushing their own buttons, and I hand on my heart, with the best of intentions, I don't think that there's going to be a problem with this project, and I really do believe in it. Hand on my heart. If something goes wrong, then all I can do is apologize. and it will be a big, big shame, but it was never out of any ill intent. I really do have like nothing but high hopes and positivity about this particular project. So yeah, lots of really cool things about XUSD. So lots of ways of getting people to just kind of click buttons and burn, and obviously the more that it burns, the quicker it can get to that dollar mark. So yeah, I mean really they could just burn a whole bunch of supply and it could easily get to the dollar. That's the beautiful thing about this project. But then obviously it also has liquidity bonding and then the buyer pressure. I mean, we saw obviously it's had a massive pump in the last few days since I've started talking about it. So all right. Any opinion on Patriot? I believe it lost buyers due to Trump. Zymus, not really been looking at that sort of stuff, like all the like you talking about, like some of the things that Moon King tweets about. Actually, that's a lie. I have looked at them. Not really any opinion, to be perfectly honest, except for the fact that that's what happens in that game. Like the liquidity just gets sucked out of all of that, and it all went to Trump, and then it all goes to the next coolest thing. But I guess if you're really following the laws of meme coins, and if you're following Moon King, I suspect you are. If you're talking about Patriot or you're following Ian, then the aim of the game is to really hold as well. Buy those bottoms, buy those 90% dips, and hold, and just pray for the best. But obviously they could all just die as well. But it really seems like Patriot had a lot of things going for it. Obviously now the Trump token took all that narrative away from it, but I do feel like there's still going to be liquidity flows there. So let's say Trump continues to pump, breaks its all-time highs, then people are going to take profits, and the people who are big players in Patriot, for example, might flow some of that liquidity back into Patriot. I think I looked at it and it was like 1.6 million liquidity or something actually. So yeah, really, really small amount. So what's going on, Ram? And yes, Puffy, I will do a G baby. So I will do a G baby. I want to have a look at like liquidity setups and everything like that. So yeah. So finally, has anyone been doing anything with their HotX? Oh, actually, before we get to HotX, what was this decentralized me tweet? So hi, Bretep. I like pDAI because it's the key to the success of PulseChain. Once pegged, it provides the ability to continually add stablecoin liquidity to all the PRC20 copies, helping to bring them to parity with their Ethereum. Wow. Once pegged, it provides the ability to continually add stablecoin liquidity. The epicness of pDAI pegging, the epicness of what it represents for this blockchain is beyond anything else on any other blockchain. I will try to say that as objectively as possible, but the implications of that, it's too big. It's too big. So then you could start to use that liquidity then to start pumping up all the PRC20s. Remember, I told you guys, if you love the PRC20s, don't wait till the end. I would suspect, based on liquidity flows, that once we get the next local top for pDAI, then it's going to start flowing into those PRC20s that are now looking like they're dead. So if you love any particular PRC20s, now would be the time to start buying them when nobody else is looking at them. It's also a world first, a volatile asset that is soon to become stable. So it's both an ingenious infrastructural move as well as a marketing one. I also like Wrap Bitcoin, as it looks like it will be the first copy to go to parity with Bitcoin. This is also key. Our Bitcoin is better than your Bitcoin. I can just see it. I can see it now. Our Bitcoin is better than your Bitcoin. Building confidence in the copies going to parity, and users will rush over to speculate on the copies with us. Finally, PulseChain is set to take over the crypto space. I like that I'm early. I like it too, my friend. I really, really do. So, okay. Now, finally, HotX. Who's been looking at HotX? Who's been doing anything like any... Actually, let's have a look at the ratio of... again, let's have a look at this ratio to the DAI. Is it still 1-to-1? No, it's not. There you go. Okay, so this is obviously... See, this is what's going to happen. So pDAI's pumped. Ah, man. Boy, oh boy. So here's just liquidity flows, man. Liquidity flows. So, all right. Boy, if you're a Hex Maxi, but you also love your pDAI, keep an eye on this number and this ratio, because obviously at the moment, let's just stick in that lineup. Boy, I surprise myself sometimes with some of this alpha. Wow. Okay, so one. So obviously now pDAI is getting all the narrative. pDAI is stronger. But look at the amount of volume here that was basically market makers are doing something to try and get them to drag each other together. So what I would expect, this is no coincidence, in the same way that once it's pegged, it provides the ability to continuously add stablecoin liquidity to all the PRC20 copies. I would suspect there's some big hex whales who believe in this narrative that are also thinking exactly the same way. And so as pDAI might get stronger and stronger, could be a bloody good swap here. And then eventually, by the time we get to the local top, maybe in a month or 2 or 3 months or whatever, whenever the next local top for pDAI is going to be, it's going to come back to 1-to-1. So this would be something that I'd certainly keep my eyes on. And even, boy, I wonder what this is like as a liquidity providing opportunity. I wonder what the volume is like on that. I mean, when you look at the volume there, yeah, that's pretty freaking sweet. So then we got Hex. So Ehex, what's actually just, I want to have a look if, because I know, because I'll show you HotX, because I know HotX is pumped, but I want to just see if Ehex has moved with it. Nice. Okay, nice. Good. All right, good. Very good. Okay, nice. So basically 2 green candles. I mean, damn it. That's a daily. That's not a daily. Damn it. I was like, wow, they look actually incredibly identical, but damn it. All right, let me just go to the 3-day on this. I was just about to. Oh, it's still pretty. This is where my conviction comes from with Ehex because of HotX. And because HotX is bonded to the rest of the Atropa or elements of the Atropa ecosystem, and Maria as a big Ehex whale, I would expect him to want to pump his own bags. So can we just make this a little bit? Can we get it to show maybe a little bit differently? HL bar, not HL. Let's just go. Yeah, that's a bit better. Let's do that. So I just want to show the pattern. Oops. The patterns are exactly the same. So this is on a 3-day. So that's HotX in USD. And then look at Ehex. It's starting to do exactly the same. So the bonding is really working. So whether people are buying Ehex, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. It'll just get dragged up with HotX. And HotX will get dragged up with the Atropa ecosystem. And the beauty there is the thickness of the pool between HotX and Ehex, and the fact that it's the number one pool with HotX, but with Ehex, it's also the number one pool, means it's going to work in the same way that Atropa and pDAI are moving up together in unison. So even as Ehex liquidity flows into HotX, even as more and more people switch onto this idea, that you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. You actually can't go wrong. You can only go wrong if you get too greedy. So even as more people switch onto the idea that I can actually get yield on my Ehex by swapping into HotX, it's going to pump HotX, which is also going to at the same time pump their Ehex because of the bonding patterns, which is exactly what we're seeing right here. So now, of course, we've had a juicy, big, fat pump. So I wonder if anyone's been taking advantage of HotX. So since the last time I was streaming about it, I think it was like reds, and I was like, oh man, it's like looking like it's bearish, but it's had 2 green candles. So cybercrime unit, Stephen, please make sure you contact me at your earliest convenience. Yeah, where would you like me to contact you? You can reach out to me on Twitter at coexist Stephen you can add me, and yeah, I saw you on Telegram, and I was like, I'm not clicking any links, bro. Sorry. So yeah, if you wanna have a chat to me, you can add me on Twitter, and you can share whatever you want. Yeah. So G Baby is paired in bonded with a token called prostitution. What's that token? So yeah, like I said, I will. So Sharknado, I'll go into a G Baby episode later. So okay, I'm going to leave it at that. So HotX looking good. So, again, if you got in here, so if you had a million Ehex, you swapped it into here, then you're up to 1 million. Well, to the top, let's just say to this top, you would have 1,123,700 because you're up 12%, so 12.37%. So that's some really good yield. So, all right. Thanks everybody for joining. Wow, 455. This is really cool. Nice. So, as I said, I will do a G Baby. I was going to do an Atropa movement episode tomorrow, but I will be doing that probably next week now because Zach has also at the same time organized a pDAI spaces, and I know he really wants to get into that. So, he really invited me to that. So I'd definitely like to check that out. So I'm going to postpone that till next week. Thank you very much, BTC plus love. So, all right. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the episode, and everybody have a good night or a good day or a good evening.